So Daniel, it is great seeing you, and it's great having you back here in with our Sydney Jewish community.
So I'm Tovim from Israel, and it's nice being here too.
Thank you, Daniel. So for those of you who remember, Daniel was with us here in Sydney. I think it was about 2 years ago, together with the JNF and Maruba Synagogue. We brought you out to speak and inspire our community, and you did very much that. You inspired so many people. We had a packed out Friday night dinner here in the shul, a young adults event with the JNF that was also packed out, and it's been wonderful also creating and having this friendship with you as well. When I come to Israel, I get to see you and we hang out, and it's really awesome to to
It is.
have you here tonight with us. And what I'm doing is every week I'm interviewing certain people and asking them strategies and how to succeed today. And I thought you're obviously you're in Tel Aviv now. You're in Israel. You're in Tel Aviv, yeah?
I am in Tel Aviv, center of Tel Aviv, near Dizengoff Square.
In the center of Tel Aviv. And so Daniel is the recently appointed strategic advisor to the Ministers of Intelligence and Foreign Affairs. He's also an ex-officer in the most elite unit, one of the most elite units of Duvdevan, where you served for, was it 6 years?
6 years, yes.
Years in Duvdevan. He's also a very successful entrepreneur with a number of successful startups as well. So great to have you here tonight, and particularly for our young crowd and those who are in business. I know very much look forward and love to hear your thoughts. So I thought maybe to start off with, I'll jump straight into it. But my first question, coming from Duvdevan, from the IDF, the army, and all that you've done there, the values that you learned and you had to adopt there and instruct all those under your care as well. How did that set you up for life and for life in the startup in the business world?
Well, I think being in Duvdevan and being a commander, an officer in Duvdevan, gave me several advantages when I left the army. So I'd say the first thing is people management or people leadership, employee leadership and management. Because when you're in the army, when you're an officer in the army, you have to lead people which get almost no salary. Like they get, I don't know, $200 a month salary, like US dollar. That means they're not there for the money. You need to find very creative ways to motivate these soldiers, which, developing this ability to motivate people helps you later on in business life, when you have to motivate employees. And sometimes it's when you have very low budget or no budget at all, and you have to lead these people and motivate them. So taking these abilities from the IDF to motivate people for no money helps a lot in the beginning of a startup when you're also very, very low budget. So that's the first skill. I think the second skill is project management. In the IDF, you get a project. It could be a terrorist you're about to arrest, or it could be building a training plan for changing environments in Judea and Samaria. And building that at the age of 20, where you cannot get it wrong, and you have to test it and get it right on the first time in the field, means that you need to develop very high skills of project management, and also developing creative ways of doing POCs, like a proof of concepts, without actually digging in, because you can't do a proof of concept on a terrorist. If you get it wrong, you're dead. So you have to find very creative ways of doing a proof of concept without actually going into getting that specific terrorist or group of terrorists. So POCs, you learn very well in project management in the army. And I think the third thing, which is extremely important, is improvising. Because Duvdevan is all about improvising. You got elite units in the IDF like Sayeret Matkal and Shaytik 13, the Navy SEALs. Their missions are usually planned out months ahead. Like, it's very rare that these units would have a mission like from now to now. It happens, but very rare. And Duvdevan's default is that we go and get ticking bombs. We went and arrested terrorists that could already be on the way to perform a suicide attack, or planning something for the next couple of days. So we just got intelligence and we've got to go and get them. So planning very, very fast and improvising very fast is something that I also took from the IDF. And in the startup world, you have to be extremely creative and improvise the whole time. The whole time. You never get it right with your business plan. It always changes a bit and you have to improvise. And I think the last thing is learning to live and work in uncertainty. Duvdevan is living and working in uncertainty. You do not know what's going to happen in the next 24 hours. You might be called up, you might not be called up. You might be on your way to a mission and then find out that there are 2 terrorists which are going to make a suicide attack. So how do you split the team now? So I think that skill of living in uncertainty and knowing how to calm yourself down and still make rational decisions is extremely important. I think anyone that set up a business in the beginning, an entrepreneur or any kind of business, we all know that you need to have a lot of strength to pass this long time of uncertainty until the business grows and becomes stable. So living in uncertainty is one big thing that I learned from Duvdevan too.
Wow. I mean, I know for all those listening, for me, just the amount of responsibility and decision-making that you'd have to, that's, on your shoulders as a 20-year-old. It's just incredible.
I actually think it's pretty irresponsible to give a 20-year-old like me all that responsibility I had, but
well, they're very heavily invested in their youngsters and relying on the youngsters. Tell us a little bit about what the startup industry is like today. What's the current field? The coronavirus that's been plaguing all of us around the world. Like, is that driving innovation today? Because when you're under pressure, does that somehow bring out the best in people? Like, what are you seeing there in Israel?
There are a lot of developing topics today in the Israeli high-tech sphere. A lot of them are related to the UN. The UN decided on certain topics, which are going to be the main topics that the world is going to have, like challenges. So a lot of startups are around that, like green technologies, green energy, food technologies, new financial technologies, new remote learning, and looking at this time, I think that the biggest opportunities Israelis are going to start looking into are, as usual, anything to do with defense and cybersecurity, which is huge in Israel. Because you have 20 years old kids, basically, that just 2 months ago when they were in the army, they were maybe, I don't know, hacking into an Iranian nuclear plant at the age of 20. So when they finish their army service, I guess they can build very smart protection systems, cyber systems. And these people are worth a lot of money and setting up a lot of startups. So it's a lot about defense and cyber here in Israel. A lot about energy, but not enough, I think. I don't think that's the main core of Israel or Israeli startups. Generally in the startup world, there's a lot about mobility, cars, autonomous cars, but in Israel, it's less about that. Agriculture technology is very strong in Israel. There's a lot of new things being developed. So I'd say agriculture technologies, cyber technology, and defense technologies are big now in Israel. There's a big edtech, education technology community growing here, but not big enough. So I think Israel is going to carry on being the leading in defense and cyber, and maybe in agriculture technology too.
Wow. And I have time for one more question, because then I've got to run off to Arvit here in the shul, which is great that we have the services up and running again, because we were closed for 3 months. So it's back. But my last question is that now you're, and in fact, when I saw you in Tel Aviv right at the beginning of the year, we shared a conversation and it wasn't public yet. But now that you are the strategic advisor, which is incredible for the, advisor for the intelligence and foreign affairs, how do you feel like those values that you developed and learned in the IDF, and then also in the startup world, in the commercial world, how has that set you up to do what you do today in such an important role?
Okay, so first of all, it's important to say that I had just finished my role as a senior advisor to the Foreign and Intelligence Minister, because he just became the Sar Haotzar, the Treasury Minister. So he's in charge of all the budgets of the country. I'm still his advisor, but not like full-time like I used to be. So he would take me over like to do some projects to do with innovation, but hasn't taken me yet. So it was a nice 6 months of advising to the ex foreign minister and intelligence. And how does that change? I think I was very lucky to see different perspectives, and I think that being able to see things from a higher level, which kind of shows you where is this country going to, like, where is this country going to invest things? How is it going to look? Are we close to war, or is it going to be nice and calm here in the next couple of months? Who are the strategic partners? Is it the Americans, the Russians, the Saudis? What's going on around here? And it gives you kind of a sense of how to act in your businesses, and how careful do you need to be in the next couple of months, years maybe. So it does give me a small edge over there, but nothing, I wouldn't say nothing special.
And Daniel, if I can sneak one more quick one in, what's your advice to everyone out there listening? To those who are going through challenges, difficult time. You've had to overcome so much in your, what are you, 33?
Yes.
33 years of life, so young, but yet you've done so much. What's your advice to people? What perspective should we have? Keep on going, difficult times. What's the final word?
Well, I'd say buy gold, but a very Jewish thing to do. But looking in the past 20 years, it's gone up 500%. It never disappoints you. Gold. You could say maybe in some places the same about real estate, but I think gold is the only thing that has never stopped going up, or at least not a lot. So that's financial advice, yeah, but I may be very wrong also. So my advice is not any official advice. That's
what mental advice, perspective.
So, of course, I know, I'm kidding. So my mental advice would be to look at this time as a great blessing, and understand that maybe this is a message from above saying we should stop working and look at the beautiful things we have and how lucky we are to have a family around, good people, not run after work 15 hours a day, enjoy the people around us, our families. Think about how lucky we are to have a rooftop, running water in our taps, food that we can control its temperature, a room that we can control its temperature and the weather inside the room. The fact that we have a hospital less than 2 hours away with the best treatments on earth. Like, this puts us in the top percentile of people born in this earth. How lucky we have to be. Maybe we should stop and thank God for that. Who cares about, we lose a salary, so what? We still have a rooftop, at least for now. We still have medical care, and we still have people around us loving us. So, even if everything goes bad economically, we should still be very thankful and smile to be in the top lucky percentile of this earth. Thank God for being Jewish and being in Rabbi Yossi's community. And we should also be grateful for that.
Thank you so much, Daniel. What a beautiful way to end off, I must say. You're 100% right. We're probably the most lucky in all of history as well. It's just an incredible time, and to count our blessings and gratitude. You're so very true, so right. So Daniel, thank you so very much I know your time is so precious. You're spread across so many things that you're always doing simultaneously at once. You're juggling so many things, and you've given us a good 15 minutes of your time tonight. So thank you so much. And I very much value your time and personally your friendship. And I'm lucky to count you as a friend. And, you know, all of us, all of Israel, we count on, we say thank you to you for what you've done to protect us, to protect our country, Israel. And on behalf of the whole Jewish people, really, we thank you as well for everything you've done. So go from strength to strength, Daniel, strength to strength. And you are one to watch. You are one to watch going forward. And for those of you who are on Facebook, go to Daniel's Facebook page. He also posts wonderfully. I've been following him very closely. So, but again, Daniel, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
תודה רבה.